First of all, I'm very sorry to hear about what you had to go through and your son and the surgery. I hope everything is fine now.
Yes, his surgery was a success and he's doing great. You probably wouldn't even know that he had a heart defect or anything like that. A little boy is like a lightning bolt. He's always running around, having fun, and it's a blessing to see.
It's amazing that you shared that because I think it's a reminder that in life you make plans, right? But life happens. And so
Mhm.
you have to be prepared to deal with life when it happens. I know, I have twin girls and they were born 2.5 months early. So they spent 2 months in the NICU. That was a shock, not only for us as parents, but also like to our finances. So again, life happens. It's good to be as prepared as you can so that you can face these difficult situations when they happen, as opposed to being in debt and getting into even more debt to get
Getting
out of
caught
that
up.
situation.
Hmm.
Yes. On CNBC, you talked about the high five banking method. Can you tell me more about it?
The high five banking method is a simple way to organize your finances with purpose. It's focused around your bank accounts and it's actually composed of 5 bank accounts, 2 checking accounts, and 3 savings accounts. The first checking account is going to be for your bills. This is going to be your mandatory expenses. We all have them: housing, transportation, groceries, healthcare, all of the big bangers that we all need to survive. The next checking account is going to be for your lifestyle. Regardless if you want to admit it or not, we all have a lifestyle. We have hobbies, things that we want to do, entertainment, things for fun. And then when it comes to the 3 savings accounts, the first one's going to be for your emergency fund. This is one of the most important savings accounts I think that everyone needs. This is making sure that you have money set aside for any unexpected emergencies, hospital bills, if you get laid off, big things, things that we have to prepare for financially. The next 2 are going to be optional based on where you're at in your life. I know that everyone is in a different stage in life and we're all growing financially in different areas. But when you're ready, you have a long-term savings account. This account is going to be focused around any long-term goals that take longer than a year to save up for, but less than 5 years. Like if you want to buy a house, pay for a wedding, have a baby, these are big things that take time to save up to. And then the last but not least is your short-term goals account. I like to call this my I'm not going back into debt account. Is where you save up for things that you want to do in the next 12 months, like saving up for Christmas, saving up for car registration, annual memberships, things that kind of slip our minds as we get older, we forget, but also fun things like vacations and a new iPhone, things that you wanted to experience, but you don't want to go into debt for. So the high five banking method, it's a strategy to really help you stay out of debt, help you budget, and also hit your financial goals and stay committed to them. For me, it's been a life-changing strategy that I use. And that's why I preach it so much, because it allowed me to get through not only the good times in my finances, but also the most difficult times, like when my son had his open heart surgery and when we had other family emergencies. It allowed us to feel confident knowing that we had the money set in our bills account to pay our bills. If I needed to buy something for my comfortability or something that I wanted, I could do that within my lifestyle checking account with, of course, a cap so I don't go overboard. It also allowed me to know that we had money set aside for emergencies. We had money set aside for goals that we knew we wanted to accomplish that were big ticket items, like my son's heart surgery. We didn't know when that was going to happen, but we gave ourselves the flexibility and the comfortability to know that we were saving up for this. And also for our short-term goals, because, hey, there's things that we're all going to want to do. We don't want to skip Christmas. We want to enjoy those moments, but we need to go into debt in order to do so. So this has been the strategy that I've personally used and that I've been preaching for a while now. And I just love it so much. It's my little baby.
I love it. What do you do for longer term savings or investing?
Those should not be held in a savings account. This system is really focused on bank accounts. So your day-to-day spending, investments, things like retirement, your kids' education, if you want to do a big renovation on your house, but you don't want to force it, any type of real estate investment opportunities that you want to do moving forward, those should be invested in the appropriate investment accounts, like a brokerage account, an IRA, a 401k, a 529 plan. That's where those goals should actually be held at, not in a savings account. And I really like to preach this as well, because I think a lot of times we get the context wrong. There's like a big saying out there. It's like, oh, you need to save for retirement. No, we need to invest for retirement. Let's get it right. You don't just put money in the account and it just magically gets bigger. You have to put money in the account and invest it. And that's very different from an actual savings account or a checking account. You're not really investing the money. It's there waiting for you to spend the money. So this is more focused on your budget, your day-to-day spending, and goals that you want to spend on, not things that you want to invest in.
I love that. Earlier, you mentioned that you walked away from your 9 to 5 to focus on your company full time. When was that?
Oh my gosh, that had to have been right after I had my daughter. I kind of wanted to figure out how to actually start my business. And it's also really hard when you have your first child. You kind of trying to get the hang of everything. But I think after I had my second child, I had them very back to back. They're only 18 months separate. I started my business and I was very motivated, especially with everything that went through with my son. I thought it was kind of like a sign. You have to share what you've experienced, share what's working for you. And I think one of the most difficult things that I realized was how much it was needed. Even though people, my friends and family were kind of embarrassed to share with me their budget and create a financial plan, when I saw the other parents at the hospital that were also having to do open heart surgery and how they had to quit their job because they couldn't get time off, they had to sleep in their car, they didn't have money for a hotel, they didn't have money for the surgery, they were going to go do Uber while their child was in open heart surgery. You start realizing how grateful and how privileged you are, how lucky you are. If there's a way for me to help people prepare for difficult times, if there's a way to reduce people's financial stress and really focus on their family, their goals, their ambitions, let's do that. What's holding us back? Nothing. You can help someone, help them. Don't hold that back. And that's exactly why I share the high five banking method. I share my debt-free journey. I share the strategies that I use. I know how difficult it is to be a mom and juggle being a businesswoman at the same time. I also share about meal prep because, hey, I'm human. I can't do everything at the exact same time. So I have to create systems for myself so that I don't burn myself out. And I think that's so important that women talk about these things. We have so much on our plate. How do we do it all? We have to give and take. Prioritize this so that it can make your life a little bit easier and save some time, save some money, and really gain control of our finances, how we prioritize them and how we feel are most valuable and most useful for our family.
How old are your kids now?
My son is about to be 5 next month. So he's 4 and my daughter is 6. So they're getting up there.
You've been basically a full-time entrepreneur for what, 5 years?
5 years. It's exciting.
Can you talk about some of the systems that you have in place to be successful as not only a business owner, but also as a parent?
Yes, it's being extremely purposeful with your time and maximizing it. On Sundays here in my household, we focus on preparing for the week. So we do meal prep early in the morning where I cook for 3 days, meals for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I kind of like slack off on Thursday. I don't want to eat like food that's already prepared on Thursday. So I have my Trader Joe's meals. I have my frozen meals ready to go, things that are realistic for me to kind of cook quickly. And on Fridays, we have our appetizer Friday. So I kind of let that go a little bit, have more fun, include fun in our life. Because I feel like a lot of times we always focus on the finances and our businesses, and we don't include fun in our life. So I make sure that we're including fun things to do as a family. We also do all hands meetings once a month where my husband and I, we talk about our finances. We talk about our responsibilities with the children, our businesses, and also our life so we don't burn out. Okay, how's the chores going? How are, the appointments? What podcasts are you doing? What courses are you working on? What are you working on? What do you need help with so that we can work together as a team? I think a lot of times people think that we're all doing this by ourselves and we're not. It takes a community. My husband helps me. I help him. My daughter helps me with my son sometimes. I'm like, all right, Raylan, make sure that you're helping your brother brush his teeth. And she's like, all right. It's a team. And I know I'm someone who's even been brainwashed with teamwork makes the dream work, but I do believe that because it's hard to do everything by yourself. So it's important to not put too much on yourself on a day-to-day basis and to free up your time. And by having those all hands meetings with my partner, we're able to bring up our concerns, moments where we're like, you know what, this is too much on our plate. We're going to burn out. We're not going to be able to do this or that. Let's maneuver. Let's start making adjustments so that we can accomplish all of the content, all of the speaking engagements that I may have, or all of the work that he has to do, but also be on top of our family, like our children's homework and all of the extra activities that they have to do. So it's really important to talk, have open communication with your partner if you have one, or even with your support system. It might be your mom, your neighbor, your best friends. I know a lot of friends who are also single moms and they work together. They help each other out. They're sisters, all like, it's a sisterhood and
Love
motherhood
it.
is real.